don't know me, my name is Brittany. I am a special effects makeup artist in Los Angeles, California. If you do know me and you've been here before, I love you, I appreciate you, it's good to see you. Today is very exciting because we are doing part 2 in my collaboration with Narrative Cosmetics. If you have not watched the first one, I walked you through how to do old age makeup using Narrative Cosmetics and prosthetics. I will have that linked so you can go and check that one out. Today we're going to be doing another special effects look, but this time a little bit more on the creepy side. Now I love all things creepy and scary, but one thing that I'm not particularly a huge fan of is spiders. Don't get me wrong, I think that they're very cool in theory. I like how they look. I think that they're neat, but I think that they're neat like way over there. Except for tarantulas, I can get down with a tarantula. Don't know why it makes a difference, but for some reason it does. With that being said, we're going to work through this fear together because today I'm going to walk you through the process of how to turn yourself or myself into a really terrifying spider creature. All right, let's do this. Making sure you're starting with a clean face free of any makeup or sweat. We're gonna go in with the Narrative Cosmetics adhesive. When applying the adhesive, we want to start at the centermost portion of the prosthetic and work our way outwards. This is going to make it a lot easier to apply as we get to the edges. I'm just taking a sponge right here with my little tweezers and I'm applying in a patting motion the adhesive to the nose area. Also make sure you take your jewelry out. Forgot about that part. We are also going to apply the adhesive in the same spot as the prosthetic, but our actual face. Once the glue has gone clear on both our face and the prosthetic, that's how we know that we can put them together. Once you put the two together, you're gonna wanna press firmly. Make sure you get all the nooks and crannies glued down, just like that. We're gonna continue this process throughout the rest of the prosthetic. Again, starting from the center and working our way outwards, saving the end pieces for last. And what you can do to speed this process up a bit, because it can tend to be time consuming, is taking a hairdryer and manually drying down that glue until it's clear. You can apply Vaseline to the eyebrows to prevent any glue from sticking to them. Typically, I don't usually do that when I'm self-applying because so long as you have a proper remover, you don't have to worry about losing any eyebrow hairs and everything can safely be removed without consequence. Now that we've gotten the bulk part of our prosthetic laid down, we need to go back and do the edges. Up here, you can see these are still lifted down up on my neck. And so what I like to do is I like to go in with cotton swabs because these are much smaller areas and you need a much smaller tool to actually get in there and get the glue exactly where you need it. Okay, so all of my edges are laid down, my prosthetic is fully applied to my face. Now what we need to do is start blending out the edges into our skin to make sure it's nice and seamless. So I'm gonna be taking my sponge again and my adhesive and dabbing that half on the prosthetic and half on my skin to really blend that out so we don't see the transition from the prosthetic into my skin. And I'm gonna do that along all the edges, and when it gets a little closer to my eye area where I can't quite fit a sponge, I'm going to go in with a Q-tip. You're gonna wanna do this in very thin layers, so once they dry down, we can go ahead and do it another round. We're gonna do this, I mean, it kinda depends. I would say roughly around 3 layers, but it can depend with how rough the edges may be of the prosthetic that you're using. So pretty much just as many times as it takes until it's nice and smooth. Once you're confident that all your edges are blended in and smooth, you're gonna take a translucent powder and very liberally dust over all of the exposed adhesive. All right, we're all powdered and beautiful. Now we can start painting. So I'm gonna be doing a little bit of a different technique than I did in my last video. This one is going to be more of a layering technique. I'm gonna be taking kind of a pinky toned shade. This is the Hardy Deep Mauve shade in Melpax. Just like that. And I'm gonna take a disposable sponge and I'm just gonna go over the entirety of my prosthetic with it, really emphasizing getting it into those little nooks and crannies. All right, it looks a little crazy right now, I know, just trust the process. Now that we've got a good base layer of that down, we're gonna go in with our skin tone color. And I'm gonna go right over the top of everything that I just did. And this time I'm gonna have a much lighter hand. I don't want to cover up every little bit of that pink color because that's what's going to fill in our wrinkles. So this is essentially, we're getting the same exact effect as the way I did it in old age makeup, but if you have the means of getting, you know, multiple colors of PAX paint, this is a quicker way to do it. So as you can see, only the wrinkles are staying that mauve color. That's exactly what we're going for. So just like that, now it looks like we have a little bit more of a natural wrinkle coming through in just 2 quick, easy steps. It does look a little kind of simple, a little boring and cartoony right now, so I'm gonna go in with my Narrative Cosmetics Alcohol Activated Palettes. I'm gonna start off with the Flesh Tone palette right here. I'm using the Narrative Cosmetics Activator and just spraying a little bit into the shade Chocolate, and I'm also gonna pour some into a little bowl off to the side. Using this darker brown shade, I'm gonna go into some of the wrinkles and kind of redefine them. I don't want every single wrinkle to be like the same exact color. I want them to have a little bit of variation. So I'm gonna go into some of them around my nose and mouth and eyes and just kind of deepen them up and make them a little more imperfect. So as you can see, I've been really focusing the browns, and I even went in with the black, the Prime Black from the Zombie palette, and I'm really focusing those on the deepest points of the prosthetic. So in this instance, the nostrils, and then all these areas that the fangs are gonna go into. And I'm kind of dragging it out into the deepest wrinkles surrounding as well, kind of allowing it to flood into the little tiny crevices around those. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue doing this. All I'm doing is I'm taking, like I said, that chocolate shade and that black, and I'm just really diluting it with this little bowl of activator that I have off to the side, and just really dragging it through those low points. As you can see, I went ahead and did a lot of the painting off camera just because it can be very tedious. It's time consuming and it's kind of boring to watch. But before I finish painting most of the prosthetic and before I start going into my actual skin, I did just kind of want to stop for a second because I have been doing what I explained earlier with the browns and the blacks and really focusing those on the deepest, lowest parts of the prosthetic, but also to add in a little bit of texture to the skin, what I like to do is just take a little bit of paint on one of my brushes, move my mirror over, and kind of like speckle it. You can see I kind of speckled it up here with the black and the brown, and it just adds this really awesome, gross texture to the skin. And you can kind of pat it out with your finger to dilute it a little more, and it just adds this really awesome depth and texture and shading to it. All right, that's pretty good for the time being. It has taken everything in me to not paint the eyes already, so I'm just going to do it because I physically need to. I need to paint these eyes so desperately. They're literally staring at me. So let's get that part out of the way so I can finally satisfy that need. I'm just going in with the PAX paint in black, and we're not gonna do anything fancy. We're just purely gonna paint them black for the time being. Wow, okay. Amazing. I feel so much better now. So I'm gonna go in with the 12 color Death FX Cream palette, and I'm gonna use Aged Blood and Maroon, which are these 2 darker, like reddish brown shades in here. Then I'm also gonna be using another brown cream paint from Graftobian. So I'm taking Aged Blood and Maroon from Narrative Cosmetics on a fluffy brush, and I'm gonna actually just apply that all over my top lid to really add depth to my eye socket and add a little bit of color as well. These cream paints are really great because they actually dry down fairly quickly. So you do have to work quick with them, but they don't crease or move around like a lot of the typical cream paints you would buy would. So they're really great to use on areas like around the eyes or around the mouth because you're not gonna get that movement like you would. Now taking a smaller fluffy brush with the Graftobian cream paint, I'm gonna just tone down the red a little tiny bit. I'm also gonna bring that underneath my eye. Now I'm just taking a bit of a lighter brown to kind of blend that out into the outer edges. Now we need to add texture to my actual skin that is still showing up on the sides right here, around my eyes, and then down. I'm gonna be wearing something high neck, so you won't be able to see my neck anyways, and my hair is gonna be down, but we gotta cross all our T's and dot all our I's. So I'm going to use the Flesh Tone palette from Narrative Cosmetics. I'm gonna start off with this shade right here, Soft Yellow, and I'm just gonna go ahead and spray some activator in there. And I'm gonna take a chip brush that I have cut, dunk her in, and then start this speckling. See, I jumped the gun with painting the eyes because I'm gonna have to paint them over again. They're getting speckles all over. That's what I get for being impatient. So I'm gonna go back to the Zombie Alcohol palette and go in with Prime Black. And what I need to do is I need to recreate this texture that I've created that I told you about earlier, more on the skin part of my face, so around my eyes and down on the sides. So I'm gonna take a little bit of Sea Sponge, which is really great for adding texture because it's very porous. And I'm just gonna start dabbing that ever so gently. And be very careful because since these are alcohol activated, the fumes can get pretty bothersome around the eyes. So just be very careful. If you need to take a break, please do. Okay, face is coming along really nicely. We need to put the fangs in. I definitely want to paint them, but I think I'm gonna glue them in place first and then paint them, just to avoid any kind of mess on my desk. Again, going back with the Narrative Cosmetics adhesive, I'm just gonna take a little bit of that and I'm gonna glue these just as I would the prosthetic. Putting the fangs on was surprisingly horribly difficult, but I think that we're good now. I think that they're all secure. But now I'm just gonna go ahead and paint them. I think I just want them to be a solid black. I think it just kind of fits this whole really dark, creepy, evil vibe we got going on. Okay, so the fangs are painted. I redid the sides of my face and added in some stuff here and down here because I hated how it looked a minute ago, but I like it better now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some glycerin and I'm gonna put that over all of the eyes to give them that shine that's gonna match my actual eyeballs. I need to put my scleras in, I need to change, and I might do a little bit of glycerin over some of the skin parts just to bring a little bit more of a sheen. It's a little too matte for me right now, but I'm gonna get that done and I'll be right back. All right guys, so we are pretty much done except for one thing. This is what I want to put on my fangs. Oh, do you see that? Can you see that stringiness? Oh my god. I mean, come on. This is everything. Like, you're joking. You're joking me. So this is the final look. I just went with some just wet hair, honestly, and I just kind of threw on my cloak that I just wore because I didn't have a costume for this that was great. I did go on live on TikTok for a little bit and people loved it, absolutely loved it. I actually talked and laughed way too much with everyone on there that my little chin here kind of got disconnected. So let's just pretend it's still, you know, stuck on there. I'm so happy with how this came out. I will have all the products listed down below in the description. Like I said earlier, if you're not already, please subscribe to my channel, turn on post notifications, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok. I will have those all linked down below as well, and my handle is just Brittany Lessard all across the board. You can find me anywhere. Thank you so much, Narrative Cosmetics, for this opportunity to collaborate. I had such a good time. I really truly love their products, their company, just them as a whole. Whether you are a beginner or an experienced artist, Narrative Cosmetics has so many products to choose from that are absolutely incredible. Comment down below what kind of looks you guys want to see next. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all.